Story time of why I will literally not be nice to anyone ever again. Unless you like know them really well, people will take advantage of you, and this happened to me a few months ago. I wasn't sure if I wanted to talk about it, but I'm tired of taking into account people's feelings that I do not care about anymore. Like, you disrespected me, why would I show you respect by not doing a story time on you? Anyway, so there's this girl that I was briefly friends with for a while. We kind of connected just through Instagram. Like, she kind of did social media as well, and I kind of love it when people are super passionate about those things. Like, I want to help them out, even though she was like a much smaller creator. I love ambitious people, and I want to be around people that are ambitious like that. And we got along really well over text. So we met up a few times, and like, she's a very over the top person. So definitely not someone that I could picture myself hanging out with consistently, because it would just be too draining for me. Like, she was fun in doses, like once in a while. I met her family too, and they were so nice, so sweet. Like, yeah, so we were friends, but we weren't like super close. Like, she wasn't my number one bestie, but I think I was for her, maybe. Anyway, so we haven't talked for a very long time, and then I randomly get a call from her, and she's like crying and screaming. She's like, oh my god, I'm getting kicked out, like, you have to help me. She's like, my parents are kicking me out because I have story time of my parents finding my diary. I'm 22 and I grew up with really strict parents. In the 9th grade, I had a diary where I would just write about my day, including my boy crushes. And then one day I couldn't find my diary. You know, I figured I just like misplaced it somewhere, like it's fine, I'll find it. And then a few days later, my dad calls me out, and he's literally standing there holding my diary. So he actually decided to read through it, and he read an entry where I talked about how I walked by my boy crush and we said hi to each other. Let's just say he beat the shit out of me that day. He literally thought that because I said hi to my crush that I was sleeping with him. Anyways, they threatened to send me to boarding school. They grounded me for a month. Thank God they didn't actually send me away. But yeah, I got in trouble, was grounded for a month. Continue going to school, but let's just say I no longer write in a diary anymore. Guys, this story hit so deep for me because literally when I was 8 years old, I had this Barbie laptop, which it wasn't an actual laptop. You could just play games on it. And one was write a love letter. So in my little Barbie laptop, I would write love letters to this character on Animal Crossing. He was a squirrel. His name was Agent S. I just had the biggest crush on him. I was like, I want to get married. I want to have your kid. Anyway, so this Barbie laptop generated like a love letter. So I copied that love letter down. I just wrote it on a piece of paper for some reason. My dad found that piece of paper, and when I explained to him that it was about a squirrel and whatever, blah, 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 I got in so much trouble. And that piece of paper was never thrown away. I think it got behind the couch or whatever. And then one day, A few years later, when I was like 12 years old, my dad found it again. The same paper from before, and he got mad again. And I was like, I already got in trouble for this, but I got in trouble again because it reminded him of how mad he was, and he was so annoyed seeing it, so I got in trouble for something I did 4 years ago. Anyways, hearing that story was so relatable. I was like, I mean, hers was probably much worse because it was actually a real person, so I'm sorry for you, girl. And let me know down in the comments if you've experienced something similar to this before, and if you have a crazy story that you want to share, send it to me on Instagram. I want to talk to you guys about pretty privilege as someone who's literally lived through being ugly and bullied for it and hot as hell now. Just for reference, this is what I used to look like. Just a disclaimer, because I know I'm gonna get hate for it. I didn't get prettier by taking my hijab off. That literally has nothing to do with it. So my life pre-nose job, pre-Accutane, and pre-weight loss was pretty shit. And I really did feel invisible, like, and if someone took a second look at me, it wasn't because I was cute, it was because I probably had a really bad breakout that day. People would always ask me, what's on your face? They'd be like, you look like a freaking peacock. Pepperoni face, all you can think of. And boys was like a whole other thing. I just admired from afar. I just genuinely knew I would never end up with anyone because I was so ugly. Like, legit, no guy talked to me, and like literally no one had a crush on me. And every time I formed male relationships, like friendships, it would never progress into anything. Like, you know, when like your male best friend like falls for you or something like that, never happened. I think also just having that anxiety about how you look also affects how your life plays out. So I compensated for my ugliness by being like super social, being super outgoing and loud and literally annoying. So let me tell you what happened when I started looking better. First of all, definitely more people wanted to talk to me, wanted to get to know me. And I guess the more that I grew up, the more or the less effort I would have to put in to like talk to people. I feel like I sound a little conceited right now, but I promise I'm not trying to be. I'm just saying, before I grew up, I tried so hard to talk to people, to be friends with them. And then once I feel like I glowed up, people just approached me when I honestly, like, now I don't want to talk to anybody, and it feels like people want to come up to me and make conversation. When I went to go apply as a host one time, I dressed super nice, did my makeup, looked really good, and they literally hired me on the spot, which never has happened in my life. It became kind of hard to form male relationships too, because I didn't know whether these people wanted to sleep with me or they genuinely wanted to be my friend. And if people look twice at me, it's not because of my terrible skin, it's because, you know, they're like, let me take a double take. I just absolutely hate when people are like, oh, it doesn't exist. Like, you clearly have not been through it. Like, mentally, my life is so much easier now. Like, my anxiety has just pretty much disappeared in regards to my looks. Even like, I've been weird all my life, and then suddenly it didn't become weird when I wasn't ugly anymore. Like, it just felt freaking horrible. And like, I always hated when my friends were like, oh no, like you look good. Like, if I did, people would not treat me like this or make comments about how I look, right? I unfortunately gave into the standards, got a freaking nose job and all that. And I won't lie, I don't regret it. And if you're watching this and you feel ugly by societal standards, I'm here to tell you that your acne is beautiful, that cellulite you got on the back of your legs is gorgeous, and your big nose is gorgeous. Like, I swear to you, if I went to Afghanistan right now, they'd all make fun of my nose. They'd be like, buchapaza, which means small nose because it's unattractive in that country. Thankfully, there are people that don't judge you for how you look, and you need to be friends with those people.
Get ready with me, otherwise you're fucking fake. Okay, so whilst we get ready, I'm going to explain to you guys why women can be just as transphobic as men, if not worse. Story time. Okay, so at the end of September, I went on a night out with my friends and my sister in Birmingham. It was my first time in Birmingham, never ever been before. And when I got there, I realised that it was Birmingham Pride, and I literally had no idea that it was Birmingham Pride. Just a bit of setting spray before we continue. Refreshing. So yeah, me, my sister, and my friends, we just went around a few bars, and then we went to a few clubs. I can't remember what any of these places were called, but yeah, we just went into this one bar, and we had like a couple of drinks and stuff, and I needed a toilet. So obviously, went to the toilet. The queue was absolutely huge, like out the door, and there was only 3 cubicles. So after about 15 minutes of waiting, I finally got into one of the cubicles for a wee. And then whilst I was having a wee, obviously, I sat down and was like on my phone, as you do, and I was just checking like my makeup and stuff in my camera. And then, you know, when your phone does that thing, like when you accidentally tap the screen, you accidentally tap the screen twice and the camera turns around. My camera did that and the flash was on. And then obviously I started panicking because there were so many people in the toilet. So I quickly turned my camera back around, and then next minute I heard these girls start kicking the fuck off. So I heard one girl like shout really loud, "The toilet isn't for taking fucking selfies. There's some ugly ass vain people in this toilet." Clearly aimed at me because my camera turned around, so they thought I was taking selfies, but I genuinely wasn't. And honestly, this girl was literally acting like a child, like saying, "I was desperate for the toilet, just hurry up." I was going as fast as I could, like, and I think a lot of people have quick to forget that, like, I'm trans and we're all friends here. Like, I haven't had the surgery down below, so I have to tuck. So once I finish my wee, I can't just pull my pants up, like, I have to tuck as well. So I finally get out the toilet and I see the girl stood there. So obviously I was washing my hands and stuff, and I was taking my time just to prove a point that I wasn't scared of them. And I just wanted to see if they said anything else. So as I was washing my hands, I hear this girl say to her other friend, like, "Just calm down, it's fine now, the toilet's free." And then this girl had the audacity to turn around to her friend and say, "Well, it's fucking annoying when there's real girls in this toilet who need a wee." I was gobsmacked. So I literally just looked at her dead in the eye, laughed, and just walked off. Now, the only reason I didn't say anything is because not that I'm scared or anything like that. It's just disrespectful, small-minded people like that don't deserve a reaction. So for all my trans people that worry about fitting in or being passable enough, because I actually consider myself quite a passable trans girl. Now, I don't know if they knew who I was or they could just tell I was trans. No matter who you are, what you look like, whether you're passable or not, you will always come across small-minded, negative people who will do everything in their power to make you feel that small. You know what you're going to do? You're going to stand tall, own who you are, and be unapologetically yourself.
If you don't know me, I'm M to the B. Coming in hard, you better watch it, Sophie. You think you're the only girl doing grime. M to the B, say step in line. Coming in hard with my bars. Sophie Ashman is about to get barred. Read your bars off your iPhone 4. I don't do that shit, I do it hardcore. You got murked by little T, now you're getting murked by me. You shag bear lad, you're a little scat. Have you heard your bars? They're fucking pep, yeah, that's what they are. Now listen carefully to my sick bars. They scream my name like yo. Sophie, yeah, you're a little whore. Looking at the face, what the fuck's your contour? Do you want me to lend you a blender? I'm being serious, I'm not trying to offend you. Sophie, yeah, you should stick to singing, cause when you spit, my ears are ringing. How can you shag bear lads? It's your fanny not singing, I bet your fanny's fucking minging. Sort out your manky scowl's brow. M to the B, he's coming at you with a row. You're enough to turn all lads' cam. You know that cause you're a fucking tramp.